Hey guys, welcome to part 5 of the Dusty Rose cardigan in blues. So the next step in making the sleeve, we need to make 2 9-petal motifs. You start with chain 4 and work 9 single crochets into this ring, and the next row will have 9 popcorn stitches separated by chain 3. And this third row is gonna have, in each chain 3 stitch, you're gonna have a single crochet, chain 3, a 3 double crochet cluster, picot out of chain 3 on top of the cluster, chain 3, and into this same space you end with a single crochet. And then you repeat this section for all the remaining chain 3 spaces of this round. And then after you're done with completing the motif, we have to join it to the sleeve. The first one I already did for this sleeve because I want to explain to you. So remember, this was an empty space here. So we had these two and these two. If you look at my sleeve as of now, we have here 6 picots on the motif on top. So we're going to join to the 2 picots from the middle of these 6, okay? Just like before, 1, 2, 3, 4. You start joining in the 3rd and then 4th. And then as you work your motif, you have 2 free picots. And then it's time to join to these 2 motifs. We're going to join with 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next 4 picots will join these 2. There won't be any space to fill here. And then you'll continue going around with 2 free picots for your working motif. And on the other side, on this motif, you have to join to these 2 picots. And then once you're done with that, you just continue in pattern for the rest of your working motif. So at the end, you have to have 6 free picots here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and this is how your sleeve is going to look once you have joined that motif. I should probably demonstrate for the other sleeve just so you know and make sure that you understood it correctly. And I'm ready to start the row that joins the motif to the other ones. So slip stitch into this space, chain 1 and 2 single crochets here, 1 picot out of chain 3, 3 single crochets into this same space, and then we start joining. Like I said, 2 picots will join these 2 picots. If you have forgotten how to work the motifs and all those, please watch the part 1 again. All the information you need is in there. All right, chain 2, and the next picot we join as well. Okay, and then following the pattern of the motif, we're gonna work as far as 2 picots go. So 1 picot now, one more picot here, 3 single crochets into the same space. The next 2 picots, the next 4 picots actually, will join this motif and the motif behind it. So like as usual, we are going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. So into the 3rd, we start into the 3rd. And we join our new motif to those two ones. Everything is following the pattern in what the motif is concerned. So next picot to join is this one. Then I have to move my work around so that it's more comfortable to work. Continuing in pattern, and the next picot goes to the next available picot right here. It's not complicated really, it's time consuming and it requires focus. And one more picot here to join. And then continue in pattern for the next two picots. Okay, now look how it looks. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no space to fill here. And then we just mirror back what we did on this side. We're just gonna do it to the other side, joining to this motif, okay? Have to move the work around in order to be able to see what we're doing. Okay, following the pattern. Now joining the next two picots. So this is my next motif. Skip 1, 2, and then go and join to these two picots. One last picot to join here. And once I have that, all I need to do right now is to finish working this motif in pattern. All right, this is done. And the next thing we have to do here, we need to make two little motifs of the first ring is going to have 6 single crochets. The next row is going to have 6 popcorn stitches and the chain 4 in between them, okay? So you just start with chain 3, 6 single crochets, and then the next row is in each single crochet around you're going to work popcorn out of 5 double crochets and the chain 4, and that's all you need to have. And you need 2 motifs because 1 for each sleeve. While I will be working on my next round, I have to mention that this little motif does not have this row of petals. It's just like this one, but instead of 7 we have only 6. Okay, very simple. All right. So like before, this will have 2 single crochets per each chain 4 space, and I'm gonna start with 1 single crochet in here. And then I'll keep going with chain 6. Okay, I have my chain 6 here, and then in the next chain 4 space, I work 2 single crochets. And just continue around like that till you get to where you started. So even if my petal row is missing from this motif, I still respect the color sequence that I came up with at the beginning of this design. And because of the placement of these motifs into the sleeve, nobody really can notice that something is missing here. You know, it just blends in with the whole design, and it works perfectly. All right, so I'm about done here, and I'm gonna start joining this little motif to the rest of the sleeve. And the joining here will take place like this: 2 picots we join, 2 picots are free, 2 picots we join, 2 picots are free, and so on and so forth till the end. So chain 1 and then 2 single crochets into this space. We're gonna start with the free picot as always, and then continue with 3 single crochets into this space. And now this next picot, we're gonna start joining to this motif, these 2 in the middle, right? Because we always skip 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 we work. So let's do that. And this is kind of the last thing you have to do in what the sleeve is regarded. I'm just gonna have to show you how to fill the spaces in between the motifs, and that's it. That's all you need to know in order to create your own cardigan or dress. So 2 we joined, and then we continue in pattern for another 2 picots. Okay, 1 more free picot here. And the next 2 we're going to join. All right, let's see. So it goes around like that, and the next 2 picots we're gonna join to these 2 picots of this 9 petal motif. Just like always, we're gonna skip the first 2, and then 3rd and 4th joins to the next 2 of this motif. Turn the work around so that it's more comfortable for me to work. And cannot believe that this sleeve is almost done. one more picot to join here. And then we work in pattern for the next 2 picots, which are free. We do not join them to anything. And the last 2 picots are going to join to the next picots of the other motif that's waiting. Okay, so we have 2 joined, 2 not joined, 2 joined, 2 not joined, and the next 2 join to this motif, to the next one that's waiting. So skip 1, 2, and then join to these 2. Last one. And we finish the motif in pattern with 3 single crochets into this space and 1 more free picot. And 2 single crochets into the same space. Chain 2 and slip stitch into the first single crochet of this round. Chain 1 and cut your thread. And let's see what we got. All right, so this is the space we filled. You see how this sleeve goes from 6 motifs in circle, and it decreases in size, in width, and comes to, in a perfect shape, to only 4 motifs in a circle. So all of these spaces that are here, we're going to fill with a joining motif. So let me show you how to fill a square space. We're going to start with a chain 4, and by the way, what we did here for this little one, do absolutely the same for the next sleeve, for the other sleeve, and then you can fill the spaces. We chain 4 here and slip stitch into the first chain to form our little ring. Now we need to work 2 double crochet clusters. This is a 2 double crochet cluster here, and the beginning one will start like this. Chain 2 and work a unfinished double crochet into this ring, like this, and then finish it as one. That's your cluster. Okay, and this is what we work here. Chain 1, and then we have to work a picot, a joining picot. So chain 1 from the first stitch of the picot. The next chain stitch will become a slip stitch into any of these picots. So I just start, let's start in this corner here. Does not matter where, because you are going to join all the picots now. So join to this picot, finish the picot on your working motif, on your working joining, I don't know how to call this. Chain 1, so you can have a symmetry between this chain picot and that one, okay? And then continue with a 2 double crochet cluster in your ring right here. So we work 2 unfinished double crochets. We finish them as 1, that's your cluster, and then repeat this whole process from chain 1, joining picot, and chain 1. And that's all we do around this whole space. That's how we fill the space. And if you have a square space, you're gonna have 8 clusters in the ring, 8 joining picots, obviously. If the space is, let's say it has 10 picots, then you need to have 10 clusters in your ring, and so on and so forth, okay? At the underarm, for example, there's a space of 12 picots, so you're gonna have to adjust this joining in order to fill that space. And we keep going like this around till we have this space completely filled. If you want to make your life easier, you can work this design in yarn, for example, and you can get a thicker cardigan. You can line it with fabric if you want, and you can use it as a spring or fall garment. Like I said in many other videos of mine, I like to work with thread, and that's why I complicate my life so much, but the result is just beautiful. Like, I cannot compare it to yarn, for example. So I'm about done here. And when my work becomes uncomfortable, I can turn it backwards like this, and then I keep continue. So I think I have a few more picots, 2 more picots left to join. And this is how you basically fill a square space. You're gonna have a lot of those if you choose to make this project in thread. All right, this is my last one. Well, thank you for being so patient and staying with me while I completed this space. And at the end, once you've done your last chain 1, you just slip stitch into the first cluster on top here. Slip stitch and chain 1 and cut your... And that's how you fill a space that has 8 picots around. Now there are other spaces in the cardigan that I want to pay attention to and to tell you. At the neckline here, in this spot here, it has 5 sides, and that means it has 10 picots. It means that your joining will have 10 clusters. Okay, another one that is also special, it is the underarm one, which is a hexagon shaped space. This one will have 12 clusters and 12 picots to join. Okay, and one more here at the sleeve, and there is this space here, this one here, that helps us have that smooth transition. Okay, in this case we're gonna work 2 filling motifs, one on this side and one on the other side. but it's gonna be a filling of 6 clusters and 6 picots. And let me show you on the original cardigan. So this is my sleeve, and this is the space that I'm talking about. Here is a filling of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clusters and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picots. And here you do not need to have a picot here. You can just work a chain 3 and move on to the next cluster, and then end your filling motif. And then on the other side, when you're gonna work in this spot here where you were supposed to have a picot, you're just gonna join with either slip stitch, either single crochet into this chain 3 space, and this way you're gonna join these 2 fillings together at this side. All right, thank you so much for following these videos. I hope you're gonna create your own cardigan or dress. So the difference between a cardigan and a dress is only the fact that the cardigan is open at the center and the dress has an opening only at the neckline. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in some future videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.